What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So, Konami decided to start printing action spells. Like, the action spells from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V anime. We're actually going to be getting these cards. And if you don't know what action spells are because you didn't watch Arc V, so basically, in Arc V, they have these things called action duels. And it's kind of like you're dueling in like a Chuck E. Cheese or in a, football field or something like that. And you basically run around while dueling. And you can just pick these cards up and they're just in the air and in certain places on the dueling arena. And you can just activate them all willy-nilly. And they're all quick play spells, so you can just activate them whenever the hell you want. Certain cards will do they'll have just random effects. Maybe one will like stop a monster from being destroyed. Maybe one will make it so you don't take battle damage, etc., etc. Now these aren't going to be directly like that, but it does look like Konami is basically implementing some of those action spell effects from the show into, real life Yu-Gi-Oh! So the first one is kind of gimmicky. Actually, they're both really gimmicky, but I think the first one could possibly find a home in some OTK or bust decks. This is action spell full turn. Quick play card. For the rest of the turn, any battle damage a player takes between two monsters is doubled. If this card is in your graveyard, except the turn that it was sent to the graveyard, you can discard one spell card and then set this card. I don't think the second effect is all that useful. If you miss your chance to one-shot your opponent to like OTK them the first time, you probably lost the duel. That's just how fusion decks are. The reason that I say that this works okay in fusion decks, if I were to look at some of the fusion archetypes released in Arc V, and it actually associates really well with the characters, and they're all kind of aggressive and whatnot. Look at decks like Fluffles, Lunar Lights, Ancient Gears. You could even throw Cubics in the mix. They're not from the anime, but well, they're from the movie, but you get what I'm saying. A lot of these decks have these big ass fusion monsters that can attack multiple times and that can do massive amounts of battle damage really quickly, and a lot of these monsters can have their attacks modified as well. You have monsters like Fright for Sheep, not Fright for Sheep, but Fright for Wolf, Leo Dancer, Panther Dancer. These monsters, Ancient Gear, Chaos Giant, they can attack multiple monsters on the field. Sometimes they can attack every monster on the field. And then you can modify their attacks even more with things like, I know that Lunar Lights have obviously Blue Cat and they have Purple Butterfly. Obviously, Ancient Gears have like Power Bond, Limited Removal. So imagine if you had this, right? Imagine if you summoned a Chaos Giant with Power Bond. He'd be 9,000 attack. And then if you activated your full turn, he'd do double battle damage. Like, what the fuck is your opponent going to have on the field that's going to survive that? Like, I can't think of anything. Even if they have Honest, it doesn't matter because he locks out the battle phase, spells, traps, and effects. So like, there won't be any surviving that. And I don't know, I feel like this card adds a little bit of cheese to those decks, especially maybe something like Cubics where every card matters. If you summon maybe an Ancient Deity and you activate like Cubic Wave and your attack gets doubled and then you're doing double battle damage and then you do 3,000 burn damage in the end phase, come on now, your opponent's not surviving that shit. So yeah, this can be a niche card, maybe a one of in like fusion decks. That's the only place I could really see you playing it. Then we have the second one, which is action spell double banking. This is a quick play that basically turns your dudes into potential BLSs. Discard one card, apply this effect to monsters you control. Once applied, if any of those monsters destroy an opponent's monster by battle this turn, it can make a second attack in a row. So yeah, this basically turns your monsters into BLSs. If you kill one of your opponent's monsters, like if you run it over, then that monster can attack again. The problem is, this really only feels like it's good if your opponent has like multiple monsters on the field. Like the last card, full turn, it feels like even if your opponent has one monster, you can still like OTK them through that. But this card, I mean, I don't know, if I have like two monsters on the field and I'm giving up two cards because I have to discard and then activate this, doesn't really feel like I'm getting that much value because my second monster can't attack over a monster. Like if you don't have two monsters on the field, because, well, hell, even if you have two monsters, chances are my first monster is going to attack over both of them. So my second monster doesn't really get any utility. Like, this is one of those where, I mean, maybe it can be like useful in an archetype, but I'm not seeing how it's honestly better than the last one. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like that Konami is bringing the action cards from Arc V? Where's that card going? I think it's Evade or what? That card, they activated that card in Arc V, so they must have used it at least 20 times in the show. The random card where it just negates one of your opponent's attacks. I'm waiting for them to like make that card and then you can like activate it from the deck. That would actually be pretty good. You just negate one of your opponent's attacks when they attack a monster, but you can just activate it from your deck. Anyways, now I'm talking about nonsense. Thank you guys for watching. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos.